Yo, once again, man, it is the most wonderful time of the year. Willie Epting Jr., the Ballers Report podcast, War Zone Sports Network, and I got a plethora of guests. And when I tell you they are some NFL football heads, that is actually putting it nicely. So again, this is the most wonderful time of the year. NFL season is upon us. It has started. We're going to wrap up week 1. College football season is in full swing, as well as high school. Shout out to the Red Oak Hawks, who we cover here at the Shakeback Sports Media Group out here in Dallas. So before I bring on the guests, you already know what we got to do. So let's go ahead and let's get this thing. Here we go. Let's go.
Right about now, you're about to be possessed by the sounds.
Yeah, I know what it is. You little suckers get to talking, grabbing out walking, strapped to the pong, getting tossed and smacking, they sleep with the coffins. And they getting greedy like saying, give me all.
You already know what it is when you hear that music. Ballers Report podcast, Warzone Sports Network. I got guests. Well, I got 2 guests and 2 family members, but since they are now on the show, they are not guests anymore. Guess what? They are family members now. Bring it to the stage first and foremost. He is the senior VP of the Shakeback Media Group. He is also the do everything man for Team Up Sports Consulting out of Monroe, Louisiana. An agent in the making. Who am I talking about? None other than John Motley. Jay, what's up, man?
Nothing too much. You know, it's the greatest time of year right now. So.
The greatest time of the year.
Even for the ones that are licking the wounds.
Even for the ones that are licking the wounds. That includes the helmet signal behind your head and the fans that include them. All right. Coming up next, he is also a guest, but now since he's been on the show, he is family. Welcome to the Shakeback Media Group. Cleveland Browns fans. I got Marshawn. No, it ain't Marshawn Lynch, but it's a different type of beast mode. Marshawn, what's going on, dude?
What's going on, Willie, man? How you doing? I appreciate you bringing me on, man. I'm feeling energized just like my Browns was on Sunday, man. So I'm here. I'm ready.
Yeah, and we're gonna get to that as well. But before we do that, I had to save the best for last, right? As you might be able to tell, it's 2 of them, so I can't bring them on separately, but I do have to bring them on together. Separate but you mean separate as in divide? I'm talking about the Bucs Babes, and that includes Ruth Cayes and Christina.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, ladies?
Nothing much. We're really excited for you bringing on us the show so we can help promote our new podcast that we will be kicking off this Friday.
Yes.
Both of us live in the Tampa area, and we're going to be covering the Bucs this season. And we've just decided to put a podcast together so we can talk Bucs every weekend.
There you go. Bucs Babes.
Bucs Babes.
Babes. At Bucs Babes. And look, they both, let me tell y'all, they both know their stuff. It ain't just cuteness with these 2. They know their stuff. So let's get right into this thing, man, because we got a lot to get into. Let's see. NFL Week 1 roundup. Started strong, finished stronger. The first game on Thursday night, the opener, those Dallas Cowboys went down to Southwest Florida. And there's a team out there named the Buccaneers. I think they won the Roselle Championship or the Roselle Trophy last year.
Something like
Lombardi Trophy last year. You might know them as Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got some dude named Tom Brady at quarterback. They beat the Cowboys on a last-second field goal. Sorry, Jay. 31-29 as Mr. Suckup hit one at the buzzer, sending Dallas fans home mad. And then, of course, the game of the year so far after one whole game, after one whole week, my Las Vegas Raiders home against the Baltimore Ravens. Nobody picked us to win but us. There was this dude named Derek Carr that threw for over 400 yards, including a 37-yard strike to Zay Jones to seal the deal, 33-27. And that was one of the better games I've seen in quite some time. So let's just go there. Bucs Babes, in particular, Ruth, who is also a Cowboy fan. But you covered the Buccaneers. So talk about really your conflict of interest in having to watch this game.
Oh, it was tough. But I was definitely bleeding blue throughout that whole game because every good thing that the Bucs were doing, I was disappointed. I wanted to see the Dallas Cowboys come back fierce. I mean, defensively, we didn't do too shabby. So I'm looking forward to that Dan Quinn has probably changed that defensive room for the better. So I'm excited for what the season has to come. But I was a little bit torn during that matchup. I was actually in the stadium watching the game live. So it was pretty entertaining. But, I mean, you never give Brady the ball back with 1 minute on the clock. That's something you don't do. So I feel like the coaching staff could have done a little bit better to eat up some more time to not give Brady the time to do what we all saw him do.
Okay, Christina. So you're there in Tampa Bay, and I'm going to assume that you're a Bucs fan.
Yeah, I've been a lifelong Bucs fan, and our friendship was definitely tested this past week because she had her Cowboys jersey on, I had my Bucs jersey on, and we were just battling it out. But overall, it was a rough start for the Bucs. Brady showed up like he always does, and like Ruth said, you don't leave the GOAT with over a minute left on the time clock. One thing that's commendable is Dak Prescott played an amazing game. As a Cowboys fan, you got to be proud of that, to see that he's able to shake off the rust and shake off all those injuries and to just play an outstanding game. But overall, the GOAT gets it done and Super Bowl champions are on top.
That's kind of something that I mentioned. I said, Dak threw for over 400 yards. He had some great completions, some long throws, no rust to be seen. So that was a win for me. Not technically a win, but it was a win in my book to see that Dak is going to have a good season ahead of him.
I wish I had that
little violin.
The little one.
Yeah. John, as the other resident Cowboy fan on this broadcast, why in the world did Kellen Moore only run the ball, 15 times?
Well, that's a good question. And of course, in the media, we always gonna get it broken down. And of course, the Dallas media is notorious for asking those hot button topics. And one of the reporters there in Dallas asked specifically, how many run plays or, however it came about. And he basically stated that he called 28 run plays and Dak checked out of 12 of them, I believe is what the number was. So my question, and of course, depending on the perspective that you look at, my thing is, from a strategic standpoint, looking at it like chess, why are you calling plays strategically at that point in the game where a quarterback has to, consistently check out of a play?
Mm-hmm.
So is that a schematic thing or what? And that's what I just keep in mind, what I try to do is I try to study the tape and look at okay, each individual play.
Call the play.
Break it down.
Drive, and Tom was like, no.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. It's all good.
But ultimately, I guess trying to figure out, because if the quarterback comes to the line of scrimmage and he's checking out of the plays, well, it's a reason that he's checking out of the play. It's something that he sees on the defensive side of the ball. He's seeing keys.
Yeah.
Okay. But then it still goes back to the original play call, and that, why are we having this discussion in the media after we just went through a whole preseason, even though, and it goes back to game management is what I'm looking at. Okay. And I think that we talked about just a minute ago with why did we allow a minute left with the GOAT on the other side, basically, you just asking for an opportunity, especially with a young defense.
So. Can we talk about that OPI on Chris Godwin, though?
No, that was not an offensive.
That was
it's very questionable.
I'm sorry, but I don't know if you guys remember week 1 of last season when the Dallas Cowboys faced the Rams and they called a offensive pass interference on Michael Gallup when he was only trying to take Jalen Ramsey's hands off of him. He was just trying to slap him down because he was all grabbing at his arms. I mean, that's exactly what Chris Godwin just did. So, I mean, we can go back and forth on that all day. I know you guys don't want to spend time talking about that. I know someone's about to pull out their violin, but it made me mad.
Yeah. I think overall with that offensive pass interference on a game-winning drive, on a game-scoring drive, a ref is not going to get in the way of a play like that.
I'm sorry, but Michael Gallup was about, I don't know, like 20 yards away from scoring a touchdown. It was another winning drive. I mean,
hold on, ladies. Let's let Marshawn get a word in about this. So since they brought it up, since the Bucs Babes brought it up, Marshawn, talk about that lack of or absence of a call on the offensive pass interference. And I'm gonna give my 2 cents here in just a second.
You got to get in the weight room. That's all that is. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a pass interference when you got 2 guys fighting for position. You know, I mean, I didn't see a pass interference. You know, they both was tugging at each other. Godwin, you know, gave him a little bump, which in my opinion is allowed in the NFL. I mean, you got to find some type of separation. So I personally didn't see that it was a pass interference. You know, it was just a good play, you know, and the receiver got it. So, man, it's unfortunate. You know, listen, I love Cowboys. I'm not the Stephen A. Smith person here. I think the Cowboys are going to be better than a lot of teams is giving them credit to be. I actually think they're going to win the East this year. But I mean, you faced a better team that week, you know. So you just gotta as many excuses as we want to make. You know, the Bucs. I mean, everybody you knew going into that game, the Cowboys stood no chance against the Bucs, no matter what miracle would happen.
I just think during that matchup, it was just obviously clear that the Dallas Cowboys are not as bad as everybody likes to say they are.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we had the lead late in the 4th quarter.
Yeah. I said going into this season, though, I mean, everybody, I ain't gonna say everybody. The media has been putting out this whole persona that my Browns got the best receiving room. I think the Cowboys receiving room is way better than the Browns. You know, you got Michael Gallup, you got CeeDee Lamb, and you got Amari Cooper. Sorry, you got Amari Cooper. All 3 of those guys, to me, is capable of being #1 receivers. You know, I can't say that about my Browns. So.
Well, I can say as a talent evaluator, the one thing that I can say, anybody that knows anything about talent, the Cowboys have talent.
Yeah.
Okay? It's a matter of getting the right amount of depth, the right amount of experience, staying healthy, and it's a whole ball of wax. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So go back and look. A lot of teams that started out 1-0 last year went on a long losing streak after that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you know, and we early, so you know, you're gonna see a lot. Like some teams that won this past weekend are gonna lose this weekend just because of the way the matchups work. So,
most certainly. But let me ask you this, John, as being a Cowboys fan, would you say that the amount of talent that the Cowboys have, and even the Bucs Babes everybody can join on this, but with the amount of talent that the Cowboys have, do you think that the teams under them, the football team, the Eagles, the Giants, are that much closer to them? Or like if let's say if the Cowboys had a small fall off, that the other teams will still be able to be in it to win the East. I don't think that the rest of the teams in the East are even in the same stratosphere as the Cowboys.
And you're totally right. And I guess what I'm looking at, if you go back, and this is what I'm gonna say with Dak. If you go back to the 4.5 games he played last year, the 1 game he's played this year, look at his numbers. Outrageous numbers.
Yeah.
You put your defense in a position where now you run it up and down the field. It's a schematic thing. It's a game plan thing because you got to know your talent. You got to know, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the Cowboys aren't good because they are.
Yeah.
I think that, but what's going to hold them back is that we keep making excuses, you know, like, you know, because every time I turn around, it's like an injury here or something that we could have prevented. And that's the thing that the Cowboys just need to do going forward is just try to do better as the coaching staff.
Let me get in here real quick. and I don't want to get too far off the topic because we got to get to the game of the weekend, which is the game that took place last night. In terms of was it a pass interference call on Chris Godwin? I would say yes, it was. Now, there's a difference between it being pass interference and it being called pass interference. And the reason why I think that it was not called pass interference is because of the type of route that Chris Godwin was running. He ran a back shoulder fade. Okay. So when whoever the corner was, I forgot, it wasn't Diggs. I think it was Brown or whoever the corner was. Yeah, they had good coverage. They were in great position. And any little hand checking that's going to be done between the two of them is going to be magnified when Chris Godwin stops and adjusts his body for the back shoulder fade. I think that if it was any other kind of route, they might have gotten him. But because it was a back shoulder fade, I think that's the reason why I wasn't called. And then the second thing, Jay and Bucs Babes and Marshawn, we talked about the running game or lack thereof. Here's what I think took place. I think it may have been the game plan somewhat for the Cowboys to come out and throw the ball all over the place for this reason and this reason right here. Anybody that has played football or coached football or knows anything about football when it comes to a defensive line, they will much rather try to stop the run than try to stop the pass or rush the passer, because every time a quarterback drops back, that's an instant 10-yard dash for those big guys up front. So when you do that 60 times a game, yeah, you're going to wear down. And we all know that Tampa has one of the best front sevens in the National Football League. So that's how you offset an aggressive front like that, by making them rush the passer and ultimately tiring themselves out. Now, I'm thinking that the Cowboys were hoping that they would have the lead at that point and can then just give the ball to Zeke and let him just wear down the defense. But that's not actually what happened, because they left time left on the clock and the GOAT came back and got him. All right, let's move over to the Las Vegas Raiders. Yay! Las Vegas Raiders, baby. And the Baltimore Ravens, as we stated in the introduction, 33-27, Derek Carr over 400 yards passing. I think the story of the game is how that defensive front for the Raiders got after Lamar Jackson. I mean, got after him. And if y'all don't know, Gus Bradley has Lamar Jackson's number. Think about what he did to them when he was the defensive coordinator in San Diego, and what they did to the Ravens in the playoffs 3 years ago. Dude has number. And when you can get pressure with just those front four guys, and particularly with a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, yeah, it's going to be for a long day. He turned the ball over 3 times. First time he's ever had 3 fumbles in a game. He did have he had over 80 rushing yards. He had more rushing attempts and rushing yards than anybody else in the entire game. So let me ask you this, Marshawn, as a Browns fan, and as your team got throttled by my Raiders last year. The Baltimore Ravens and their injury issues, are we looking at a Lamar Jackson that's going to have to be the type of Lamar Jackson that he was when he won the MVP?
Yeah, absolutely. I told her, when I talked to Rachel before I got on, I told her that with all the injuries that's dropping for the Baltimore Ravens, I don't see them as a team that the Browns should be worried about. I actually think the Steelers is the team that the Browns should be worried about, because, I mean, I'm not going to say – I'm speaking prematurely. Right now, based off of last night, what I saw, I mean, Lamar Jackson is going to have to be the quarterback and the running back until they find a actual every down, 3 down back for the Ravens. And then they already don't have no good receiver. Their best receiver, I want to say, was Sammy Watkins yesterday. He's a shell of himself. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I honestly think, I mean, right now, Lamar Jackson is just like Baker Mayfield. I think they're in the same stratosphere right now, where you're going to have to earn your contract this year, actually leading your team and being the reason why your team is or has made it to the playoffs or made it far within the playoffs.
John, step up to the mic, man. You're a talent evaluator. You are very good at reading film or watching film and pointing out the nuances of different things, as well as being an agent. What we saw from the Raiders front four last night, do you think that's what we're gonna get used to seeing going forward, or do you believe that was some sort of anomaly?
I just think it's an anomaly. I mean, like right now, you
Hush
got
your
to take
mouth.
it still, huh?
Hush your mouth.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I mean, you got to look. I mean, everything, like, the one thing about the National Football League, knee-jerk reaction. You know, it's so quick, because you got to think now we got a week on tape. So we're going to go back. We're going to study the tape. We're going to come up with a game plan. We're going to tweak the game plan, come back out next week and see if that game plan, and that's where it goes into. So based off of the game, they didn't perform well enough to win the ball game. It doesn't mean that they can't come back and still excel the rest of the season.
Bucs Babes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with the Raiders this season. I think last night was a great example of them actually making some changes defensively that's going to be working in their favor this season. So I'm happy for John Gruden. I think Derek Carr could have played better last night. I mean, I really didn't see the efficiency that we
better.
I honestly didn't see
over
the
400
efficiency.
yards.
Right, but towards the end of the game, when you have to make those game time plays, I just feel like Derek Carr kind of slipped up. Didn't put the ball exactly where he needed it to be, but I mean, those are things that you clean up after week one. But I think you're in pretty good shape for your Raiders this season.
Well, I appreciate that. But anyway, when it comes to Derek Carr and what he did last night, that ball that bounced off the cornerback's head and into the teammate, that was not his fault. That was really the Force fault, and I don't even understand why he was in the freaking game at that point, let alone being targeted. They could have put anyway. And then another thing too that I have a concern about last night, and it may be just the fact that Josh Jacobs and King and Drake, they didn't really produce on the ground like I expected them to. Now I know that that Jacobs had some sort of illness and he was battling some sort of toe injury as well. So I think that when, just like you said, John, whenever you have this first game, you go back and look at the tape, you make the necessary adjustments, and then you move on forward in terms of that. And then it all depends, of course, who you're matching up with the next week. And we will be going to the Steel City for a stupid 1 or 12 o'clock kickoff. Another team from the West going to that time zone and seeing what we got to do to get out there. All right. So let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from week one. And you already know, I love sounds. I love music. I love themes. So here we go. Yeah, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Bucs Babes, since you are not the ugly, and we're gonna see how good you guys are, or bad for that matter. Let's start with you, Ruth. What's your good, bad, and ugly from week one?
My good is definitely going to be Dak Prescott playing lights out in his first matchup against such a dominant defense like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A bad would be the Tennessee Titans losing to the Steelers. Oh, my God. And the ugly is Baker Mayfield throwing an interception before winning the game against the freaking Chiefs. What the heck, Baker? What the heck? That was ugly. That was so ugly. You saw his tantrum on the ground afterwards?
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Sorry, Marshawn, but we're going to come back to you.
Yeah, that was bad. That was definitely bad.
Christina, what you got? Good, bad, and ugly.
I mean, my good is going to be, the Bucs are 1-0. They're the reigning Super Bowl champions, and they beat the Cowboys. So
I think that's going to be 9 games in a row now. Yeah, I think 9 games.
Yeah, they haven't lost since their bye week last season. So the bad is probably going to be, just seeing. Probably, yeah. The bad would be Baker Mayfield throwing that interception. And
did anybody watch the Cardinals game?
I did.
Yeah.
I want to. Okay, what happened? Because I did not expect that outcome.
It's the Cardinals. I mean, to be honest, the Cardinals always start off strong. They started last season off strong. It's just that, to me, like John said, I didn't take that win as like, oh, the Cardinals are here. The Cardinals got to still play the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers. So I didn't really take that with a grain of salt. I kind of was like, okay, Cardinals can put up points.
They did have 5 sacks though, which is impressive.
No, Chandler Jones had 5.
Yeah, Chandler Jones.
One person.
Chandler Jones is trying to get traded.
And
so
can I throw one thing about Chandler Jones? They tried to give him away for a bag of potato chips all season.
Mm-hmm. He's just trying to keep his stock up. That's all that is.
And he did a great job too. So that was awesome.
Marshawn, go ahead with your good, bad, and ugly.
All right, so I'm gonna go outside the box with it. My good, I gotta give a shout out to my guy, famous Jameis, man. I didn't see Jameis Winston playing the way he played on Sunday, throwing 5 touchdowns against the Packers. So that's the good. My bad, I'm going to have to go with the 49ers, the entire 49ers. You were up big on the Lions. Injuries happened, and you let the Lions come back. So I'm not sure if the 49ers are as strong of a contender as everybody puts it out to be, because the Lions aren't good at all. And you should have put them away well beforehand. And the ugly, unfortunately, I'm going to have to agree with everybody. I'm going to have to say the ugly is my guy, Baker Mayfield. Man, when you get put in a position like that, you're supposed to be a $40 million quarterback. Granted, I got to give it to him. You were trying to throw it out of bounds. You got tangled up, but you got to find a way to not make it an interception. So I gotta give that the ugly. But I had another one, but I'm gonna just agree with everybody else as far as Baker Mayfield being the ugly.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up Jameis because, I think Jameis it like clicked to him that you don't have to throw the ball every single time. Use your legs, avoid the sack, at least get a little above the line of scrimmage, and you're good. You don't have to throw the ball every time. I think it finally clicked for him.
Absolutely, and he finally got a coach under him. Well, he finally got a coach and a system under him that I think works best for him. I don't think what I call it the throw and risk. That's what I call that offense down in Tampa. Just throw it and take a risk. Whoever catches it is whoever catches it. And I don't think that really worked for Jameis. It works for Tom Brady, but I don't think that type of offense worked for Jameis.
One thing to say about Jameis is for somebody who has watched him play in the NFL tirelessly on the Buccaneers, I saw glimpses of the old Jameis. So be on the lookout, Saints fans. I don't think we're looking at a brand new Jameis.
Oh no.
Let me piggyback on that. 2 things. Jameis Winston from yesterday, or Sunday rather, that was the Jameis Winston that we saw winning Heisman trophies and national championships. So we don't need to see the Jameis Winston that's cussing people out in the student union and stealing crab legs. And then number 2, for Baker Mayfield, the Browns would not have been in that game but for Baker Mayfield. That was a mistake at the end. I'm not going to really crucify the dude for that. Yeah, they say he was trying to throw it away and he got sacked. Or he got taken down by his legs. Mm-hmm. I can accept that. It wasn't like it was a bad decision like we've seen Baker make sometimes. That was just one of those deals where the defensive player made a better play. All right, John, you're good, bad, and ugly. What you got?
Sean Payton, his game plan, point on. So, yeah, we can give Jameis credit, but remember, it took a decision because just a few weeks ago, it was a debate whether or not he was even the starting quarterback. Secondly, the bad, well, for me, it's just when I see certain things, it just really, really bothers me. So I guess I see a lot of bad. So let me just go to the ugly. And I feel for Jeff Okudah.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't do that, man. That's my Ohio State guy.
I'm saying that the injury.
I think, and not to cut you off, John, but I already said Okudah had got drafted to a terrible team. Everybody used to call Cleveland as the Siberia, but I think Detroit is the new Siberia where you go and your career is probably going to get killed because nothing right ever goes on with the Detroit Lions.
And think too about Jeff Okudah. He is a great kid. He's a local product from out here. He actually went to high school with one of my oldest son, and they weren't great friends, but they were cool with each other. Mm-hmm. And my son always talked about how his story because his mom had passed away.
Mhm.
He wrote a letter to his mom when he got drafted, and it was a tearjerker for real. All right, my good, bad, and ugly. The good, I'm gonna go with the entire AFC West because they went undefeated with the victory. 2 teams going across the country and at the 12 o'clock spot and getting wins. And then, of course, the Vegas Raiders, what they did, and then Kansas City. I hate them, by the way. I hate them. They look. You got to give it up to Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. I still think that receiver core, outside of Kelsey and outside of Tyreek Hill, they are average. They are average at best. Mark my words. And when the Raiders face them again, you watch how they get pressure with that front four and get after Mahomes with just those guys that play coverage in the behind. All right, my bad is going to be the Battle of the Birds, and the bird that took it on the chin was the Dirty Birds. Man, what's going on?
The Falcons completely peeled apart, like from the very first quarter. Like Matt Ryan could not get anything going in the red zone. Like it was sad to watch.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's time to trade him. It's time to trade Matty Ice.
Well, I'm not gonna say they tried to, but they probably should have drafted a quarterback as opposed to Kyle Pitts. But that's neither here nor there. And my ugly, oh my God. How in the hell do you allow 5 sacks to one person? How do you do that? How do you do that, Tennessee, when you have Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones? How do you do that? How do you allow 5 sacks to Chandler Jones? It ain't like he Michael Strahan. Really. It ain't like he or Joe or anybody good. Lawrence Taylor. Man, it's not like you that. And you guys allowed 5 sacks to this dude. Okay. Final subject of the show. Ballers baller. Who's your baller of the week? The Babes, you're up.
You first, Christina.
Me first. The ballers of all the ballers, I'd have to give it to, honestly, Derek Carr did a great job. He's the baller of the week. I got to give it to him. Threw over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he just, 2 touchdowns. He just looked like a new man. I'm not just saying that.
Derek always comes out strong.
He does always come out strong.
He has to stay healthy. And that offensive line needs to give him some time to get the ball down the field. My baller would definitely be Dak Prescott. Not to be a homer or anything, but he threw for over 400 yards against the Tampa Bay Bucs on the road. Off of injuries. Everybody's saying, oh, that shoulder, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, 406 yards, get out of here.
Ruth.
Baller.
Ruth. You know what it is when you continue to talk homer stuff, you know what you get, right? You should know this.
Shut up.
Shut
up. John Motley, your baller of the week.
Tom Brady.
Still,
there's only been one person to go toe to toe with Father Time, and he look. I posted something on social media that showed that Aaron Rodgers is 7 years younger, but you couldn't tell.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, yeah. Aaron Rodgers is like a retired mafia boss.
Oh, how did we not bring that?
That's the ugly.
Oh
that's
my gosh.
the ugly.
I want to change my ugly.
Aaron Rodgers is the ugly.
Sorry, Patriots. Let's go back. I completely forgot that the Saints won against the Packers, and nobody saw that come in. I don't know what it is with Aaron Rodgers playing in the state of Florida, but the humidity is just, I don't know. It's just, it got to him, but he played really bad, and we finally got to see a little piece of Jordan Love, and nobody expected that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you somebody that did call it. She's not on the show this time. She's doing her own thing, her own podcast tonight with her girls up there in Cleveland, and that's Cleveland Kate Arhart. She called it. Remember, Ruth, last time we were all on, John, remember? She said Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are basically poo-poo, and they got poo-pooed on for real by Jameis Winston and those New Orleans Saints. All right, my My hashtag ballers baller of the week. I'm gonna give it to freaking Tyreek Hill, man. I hate that team so bad, but I gotta give credit where credit is due. What? 2? What y'all doing? Y'all throwing up the peace sign?
We're doing the peace sign from the Super Bowl.
Peace.
Antoine Winfield Jr.
Oh yeah.
He said that he was gonna do it, but then he knew that he was gonna get fined. But that dude, man, 11 receptions, over 170 yards, 2 scores. That ridiculous pass by Patrick Mahomes where he got out of the pocket and just that throw, man. Somebody need to put some handcuffs on that dude because what he's doing is just illegal and criminal. So that's my baller of the week, Tyreek Hill of the Kansas City Chiefs. And just in case y'all didn't know, I hate them. Okay, ball out. Final thoughts. Let's go.
I didn't get my baller right quick. All right,
my bad. Go ahead.
No, it's good. It's good. I actually got 2 from the same team because I was gonna give this team the ballers of the baller because they balled out, but I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna go with Chandler Jones and I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray because they both have 5. Chandler had 5 sacks. Kyler had 5 touchdowns. So those 2 balled out for their team and definitely help Arizona get an easy win over the Tennessee Titans.
All right, let's get to this ball out. Final thoughts. Go ahead, Marshawn. I picked on you. Go ahead.
Final thoughts. I'm still a little hungover from this Chiefs loss. You know, I feel like we're gonna smash Houston this week. My Browns are going to the Super Bowl. I'm just letting it be known right now. I'm putting it out there right now. I personally, just like you said, Kansas City only have like 2 good receivers. I feel like we figured that out. We see them again. We're gonna run the ball and we're gonna beat them. I think the Browns are going up against the Super Bowl, up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think we're gonna lose in the Super Bowl to Tom Brady. He's gonna get 8 and go out on a sun ride.
Oh boy.
Shut up.
John, ball out. Final thoughts.
I think the Saints are a playoff caliber team now. I seen it in action, and I ain't saying that they're gonna win the division or anything like that, but I would definitely put them in the top 7. And the team that I've been the most intrigued by so far, I would have to say, is the Raiders.
Hello. See, I don't have to give myself to shut up because y'all are all talking about the Raiders for me. Bucs Babes. Go, Ruth, go.
I actually just saw some news about Josh Gordon. Right now, he has successfully completed the NFL Monitor Treatment Program, and he is going to be reinstated into the NFL, which I think is a really interesting topic. He's a 30-year-old wideout, and let's see what roster he ends up on. But that's a good thing for Marshawn because I know he mentioned Josh Gordon before we went on.
He could get off the couch. Listen, I tell people this all the time. I'm gonna shut up after this. If you name me one receiver that's not playing right now that could get off their couch and get you 20 yards a catch, ain't too many that can do that. Who?
Des Bryant.
No, Des Bryant.
Des can't get you 8 yards.
Des Bryant cannot do that.
Des can't get you 8 yards a catch right now.
Wait.
Shut up.
Okay, let me get my final thought in here real quick. I just want to say thank you to all you guys for taking the time out of your busy schedules to do this. The Shakeback Media Group, we are on to some big things. The website is coming out soon. The Shakeback Life Coaching Podcast is coming. I just got certified as a life coach here in Texas, so I'm very excited about that. Ruth and Christina, you guys are welcome anytime. I appreciate you guys coming on. And John, continue to do what you do, man. I love you for what you're doing. I appreciate it. You inspire me, man. And Marshawn, even though you did talk about the Cleveland Browns more than I wanted to hear, it's all good. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. For Marshawn and John and the Bucs Babes, this is Willie Epting Jr. saying, man, y'all stay safe. Y'all hug each other. Y'all love each other. We'll talk to y'all again real soon. Peace. We out.